In a distant future, a solitary astronaut named Jake crash lands on a vibrant alien world, where he encounters a tribe of extraordinary women in desperate need of a savior. As Jake grapples with unexpected expectations and his own fears, he must decide whether to embrace his role or succumb to doubt. Can he rise to the challenge of an unknown destiny? Don't forget to subscribe. 91% of viewers enjoy our content but forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with our daily sci-fi stories and support a dedicated team of storytellers and content creators who rely on this as their livelihood. Jake floated in the dark void of space, the hum of the engines around him acting like a comforting lullaby in the vastness of the cosmos. The empty, star-specked abyss was his constant companion during many missions, yet this one felt different. What began as a routine exploration escalated into a frantic scramble against fate. A stark warning flashed on his control panel, pulling him from his reverie. Warning: atmospheric entry detected. He gritted his teeth and tightened his grip on the controls, his heart pounding a wild rhythm in his chest. Brace for impact. The words escaped him as he initiated emergency protocols, but the ship, the once sturdy vessel he had trusted, began to shudder ominously. The cockpit lights flashed red, an emergency dance that mirrored his accelerating heartbeat. Outside the thick, reinforced glass, Jake glimpsed a swirling mass of blues and greens, colors vibrant and alive, as they beckoned him like a siren's call. But the beauty was fleeting. The last thing he saw before the crushing chaos took hold was the majestic planet's atmosphere swallowing him whole, a tempestuous tide of air and uncertainty. With a jarring crash, his spacecraft trembled and came to rest amidst the thick, cloud-like vegetation of a vibrant forest. The once impenetrable hull, now a twisted wreck, served as a stark reminder of his vulnerability in this uncharted territory. Jake unstrapped himself amidst an avalanche of debris. As he stepped from the wreckage into the soft undergrowth, his skin prickled with a mix of adrenaline and curiosity. The forest stretched out before him in a tapestry of surreal colors. Huge blossoms swayed gently in an invisible breeze, their petals iridescent and alive. Strange, darting creatures flitted about, leaving trails of shimmering luminescence in their wake. What just happened? Jake murmured to himself, awe mingling dangerously with the fear clawing at his insides. The beauty around him was intoxicating, yet his instincts screamed of hidden dangers lurking behind every shimmering leaf. The air was thick with an unfamiliar scent, sweet yet vaguely metallic, reminiscent of iron mixed with flowers. Every sound that broke the tranquility, a gentle rustle, a distant call, sounded like whispered warnings, urging him to remain vigilant. He ventured deeper into the foliage, entranced by the unexplored landscape. A colossal structure soon loomed ahead, an astonishing spectacle of gigantic architecture that seemed to rise organically from the earth itself. The walls were not made of stone, but rather of woven vines and luminescent moss that pulsed softly with phosphorescent light. It was alive. This couldn't be merely a village, it was a symbiotic entity. From the shadows, curious eyes watched him, glimmers of wonder and fear reflected in their depth. Could I really be the first human to meet extraterrestrial life? The thoughts spiraled through his mind as he moved closer. His heart beat faster, a cacophony against the eerie beauty of the alien world. Yet, as he replaced one foot in front of the other, a creeping sense of foreboding gnawed at him. Little did he know, his arrival marked the beginning of events far beyond his current comprehension, a reality teetering on the edge of chaos. The forest thickened around him, twisting and bending like a living thing, guiding him toward that monumental structure. With each step, Jake felt the weight of uncertainty pressing in, mingling with awe. As Jake cautiously advanced, the air shimmered with a strange energy, wrapping around him like a blanket of mist. Towering figures emerged from the verdant shadows, their ethereal presence almost dreamlike. Women with long, flowing hair cascaded down their backs, each strand reflecting the ambient glow of this vibrant world. Their skin glimmered like starlight, shifting shades with every motion, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that danced under the sunlight filtering through the thick foliage. Jake froze, captivated by the scene before him. He was surrounded by the alien women, Valda at the forefront, radiating a fierce beauty that was both inviting and intimidating. Her striking azure eyes pierced through his apprehension as she approached, her posture regal, yet imbued with a hint of curiosity. "Who are you, stranger?" she asked, her voice resonating like a hymn, weaving through the air. I'm Jake, an astronaut from Earth," he stammered, a wave of uncertainty crashing over him. The sheer magnitude of their presence, coupled with the weight of the situation, made him feel small. As he spoke, their expressions shifted from wonder to confusion, shadows of despair flitting across their features. "Our tribe has no men," Valda confided, her brows knitting together with a mix of anxiety and hope. "We need you, Jake. You are our answer." Jake swallowed hard, his heart pounding in his chest. He couldn't fathom the gravity of her words, torn between a primal instinct to flee and a burgeoning sense of duty that urged him to stay. "But I'm just one person. How can I help?" he asked, the tremor in his voice betraying his internal struggle. Stepping closer, Valda's presence ignited something within him. Her demeanor shifted, fierce and resolute. "You are the key to our survival. Our hopes rest on you." The words echoed in the silence of the forest, an impossible weight settling on his shoulders. The other women gathered around, their eyes shining with a mix of determination and desperation. An array of emotions coursed through Jake: fear of failure, the urge to escape back to his spacecraft, yet a growing realization that he was now part of something much larger than himself. Valda extended her hand toward him, an unspoken invitation into their world. "Come, you must see," she urged, drawing him into the heart of their village. As they walked, the lush greenery parted to reveal a surreal landscape birthed from dreams. Structures towering like ancient trees, their surfaces glimmering with an iridescent sheen. It was a living tapestry of architecture melded with nature, a testament to the tribe's harmony with their environment. Each building was unique, crafted from organic materials that seemed to pulsate with energy. The air vibrated with a symphony of sounds: birds that sang in ethereal tones, the soft rustle of foliage, and the distant echo of water cascading over stones. The vibrant colors of the flowers mirrored the women's skin, creating a kaleidoscope of beauty that both enchanted and disoriented Jake. Entering a grand communal space, the atmosphere shifted. The air thickened with an anticipation that sent shivers down Jake's spine. The women arranged themselves in a semicircle, their expressions transitioning from curiosity to solemnity. Valda faced Jake, her voice dropping to a whisper, almost reverent. "This is our Council of Guardians. Here, we make decisions that shape our fate. You stand at the precipice of our future." As they prepared for a gathering, Jake's mind raced. He was just a man thrust into a world where he had no authority, no knowledge of their customs or their struggles. "What do you want from me?" he finally asked, the weight of responsibility overwhelming. Valda took a deep breath, grounding herself. "You must bear our story, Jake. The truth of our existence lies tied to an ancient prophecy. It foretells the arrival of a savior from the stars, a being who would come to ensure our survival and to rekindle our fallen spirits." Jake watched as the other women nodded solemnly, their gazes unwavering. In that moment, he felt the encroaching heaviness of despair, a deep-rooted fear simmering in their eyes. "What if I'm not that savior? I'm simply a man, he protested, frustration lacing his words. Valda held his gaze with fierce intensity. And yet you are here, chosen by fate. We see in you the strength that has long been buried beneath the remnants of our dwindling tribe. Her conviction wrapped around him, challenging his doubts. Suddenly, a commotion arose from the outskirts of the village. Jake turned, spotting a group of women rushing toward them, faces streaked with sweat and fear. They were shouting, their harmonized voices rising in urgency, pitching the air to a near majestic fervor. The watch, an approach, one gasped, eyes wide with alarm. The collective anxiety surged through the women as they gathered around the newly arrived group. It's true, another panted. The throngs of the Voidwalkers are on our borders once more. They seek to conquer. They want to crush our light. Jake's heart raced as he grasped the implications. The Voidwalkers. He had heard whispers of them in tales that felt more like bedtime stories. A tribe of marauders from the cold depths of space, ruthless and powerful, known for their hunger to consume entire civilizations. Valda turned to Jake, urgency lighting her sapphire eyes. You must stand with us. Together we will prepare for the darkness that descends. Will you fight? The weight of their hope pressed down on him, mixing with the dread of what lay ahead. He balled his fists, muscles tensing as he steadied himself. The unknown danger loomed, thickening the air. In that swirling moment of panic and courage, Jake took a deep breath, his voice steely despite the trembling fear. Yes, I will fight. As preparations began, Jake felt an inexplicable bond forming amongst the tribe. The women moved through the village with purpose, gathering weapons, fortifying defenses, and weaving together strategies that resonated with him, echoing the battle drills he had once endured in training. They had forged tools from the natural world, sharp-edged stones affixed to long shafts, sleek yet deadly. Jake marveled at their ingenuity. Each woman showcased a unique skill, vibrant with energy and purpose that gave him a deeper understanding of their strength. In the heat of the moment, he became one with them. His heart now beat in rhythm with the chants of their battle hymns, his spirit warmed by their fierce camaraderie. Still, doubt loomed like a shadow in the back of his mind, a whisper that questioned everything he thought he knew. Initially resisting the weight of their expectations, Jake felt lost in the growing dependency these women placed on him. Little did he know, the path of discovery he'd tread would lead him down much more than the realm of mere survival. This was a landscape filled with enchantment and doubt, where he would eventually realize that his very existence was entwined with the fate of this extraordinary civilization. The golden sun hung low in the alien sky, filtering through the emerald canopy above, casting almost kaleidoscopic shadows on the forest floor. The air was perfumed with the scent of exotic blossoms, their colors vibrant and radiating life. Yet, despite the breathtaking surroundings, Jake was overwhelmed by the burden placed upon him. The tribe viewed him not just as a stranger but as a surrogate savior. As the reality of their situation sank in, an impending extinction looming like a distant storm cloud, Jake knew he had to do something. His first challenge emerged unexpectedly. The tribe gathered around a massive stone, embedded into the earth like a monolithic testament to their struggles. Valda pointed at it, her brows furrowing with a mix of seriousness and energy. You'll lift it, Jake. Show his strength, she commanded, her eyes glinting with hope. Jake stared incredulously at the stone. It was at least twice his height and half as wide. This is impossible, he groaned, his arms already quaking just at the thought of attempting it. As his hands gripped the rugged surface, a collective breath fell over the tribe. Silly human. One of them cried through giggles, the sound shattering the tense anticipation in the air. The laughter was light-hearted, echoing through the forest, a beautiful sound that reflected their belief in him, yet an embarrassment weighed heavily on his chest. Despite his clumsiness, he couldn't help but chuckle at how absurd this moment seemed. Okay, I'll try again, he laughed, letting go of his self-deprecation, returning to the stone with renewed determination. With each effort, they cheered, urging him to give his all, not just for the mere act of lifting, but for connection. And as sweat dripped from his brow and his muscles protested, the stubborn stone began to budge. With a final, mighty heave, it rolled from its resting place, the tribe erupting in joyous cheer, their laughter cascading through the trees like cascading waterfalls. The exhilaration swirled in his veins, and it became clear this journey would be filled with challenges that would test not only his strength but also his spirit. With the sun now higher in the azure sky, his next challenge took a decidedly more playful turn. Adapting to the tribe's intricate dance rituals, which were not merely physical expressions but representations of their cultural identity. Valda welcomed him into their circle, her outstretched hand encouraging him to join her in fluid movements that told stories older than time itself. "Watch this," he claimed, attempting to mimic Valda's graceful twirls. He took a step forward, only to trip on the hem of his own pants, sprawled across the ground like a rag doll. Laughter erupted around him, not out of mockery but from a welcoming joy that permeated their very beings. Instead of shame, he devoured the shared mirth, feeling warmth spread through his chest and unearthly camaraderie blossom with each misstep. "Get up, Jake, you can dance," Valda shouted, reaching out to help him up, her grip firm yet gentle, as if she were welcoming him back into the fold. The aura of acceptance enveloped him, and with renewed enthusiasm, he joined the fray again. Each missed step drew him closer to understanding more than just their moves. It was about belonging and trust. By the time dusk painted the horizon with warm hues of orange and violet, Jake felt as though he had danced a lifetime. He had been torn apart and mended anew in bonds of laughter and spirit, no longer simply a human adrift in an uncharted alien expanse. He was becoming a piece of their vibrant tapestry. The enchanting twilight brought with it a swelling energy as twilight descended like a slow curtain made of starlit fabric. The tribe gathered, muffled whispers igniting curiosity in the air. There, amid the ancient trees adorned with bioluminescent flora, they began to prepare for a ceremony, the first one that would formally integrate him into their community. Jake stood at the center, feeling the weight of solemn expectation. Valda approached, her demeanor shifting to one of unwavering focus, a sharp contrast to the joyful jesting from before. "Tonight, you must understand what you mean to us," she declared, her voice resonating through the growing silence of the gathered throng, the crickets chirping a gentle backdrop. Tentatively, he opened his mouth, the turbulent questions of self-doubt rising to the surface. "What if I can't be the savior you seek?" His heart ached at the weight of their hope. "You already are," Valda assured him, her gaze steady. "Embrace this role, and you will find strength in uncertainty." The moment stretched, pregnant with possibilities, and Jake felt the gravity of his decision seep into his bones. The tribe began to hum a melodic chant, their voices harmonizing in a rich tapestry of sound that vibrated through the air, brushing against his skin. An overwhelming mixture of fear and resolve surged within him. What if he failed them? What if they discovered he was only an astronaut, not a warrior or protector? Yet, as the tribe sang a heartfelt melody, they poured their faith into him, lifting the veil of despair from his thoughts. A strange strength pulsed through him. "I will try because you believe in me," he resolved, understanding the enormity of his role. With that promise made to himself and to them, he recognized that the heart of heroism lay beyond tangible power. It resided in the willingness to face one's fears for the sake of another. As the ethereal notes wrapped around him, Jake, quite unexpectedly, touched the depths of his own vulnerability. Here in this alien territory, amidst extraordinary beings, he unlocked a hidden part of himself, a courage wrapped in vulnerability, a spark of determination thriving even in the void of doubt. He felt intertwined with the throbbing life of the tribe, their stories filling his mind, becoming chapters in his own narrative. But just as Jake began to feel that sense of clarity, a rumbling tremor coursed through the ground, disrupting their celebration and sending shivers down their spines. The trees quaked, their bioluminescence flickering as the harmonious song stumbled to a halt. All eyes, filled with fear and uncertainty, turned toward the horizon, where dark clouds began to swirl ominously. The beauty of the ceremony shifted abruptly into chaos. Whispers turned to panicked gasps as a darkness spread, casting long shadows through the field. Jake's heart raced, his pulse a thunderous drum. The sun dipped beyond the alien horizon, casting long shadows through the vibrant foliage that surrounded the village, transforming the landscape into a surreal tapestry of colors. As twilight crept in, the air thickened with anticipation, a palpable energy vibrating in the atmosphere. The tribe gathered beneath the vast expanse of obscured stars, their movements synchronized, a fluid dance of grace and purpose. Jake stood in the center of the ceremonial space, a large clearing encircled by trees that seemed to watch over the proceedings, their trunks twisted in an embrace of nature. The colossal flora towered around, their intricate patterns illuminated by the bioluminescent glow of hovering orbs that floated like will-o'-the-wisps. Jake could feel his heart hammering in his chest, not just with the thrill of the occasion, but with the weight of expectation that pressed heavily upon his shoulders. Valda stepped forward, her presence both commanding and soothing. Dressed in elaborate garments woven from the fibers of the surrounding vegetation, they shimmered with a spectral quality, catching the last rays of the sun like ethereal flames. Her hair cascaded in waves of silvery strands, adorned with luminescent blossoms that pulsated with an inner light, echoing the stars that soon would blanket the sky. She met Jake's gaze, her expression serious, yet laced with an underlying warmth, a light of determination that ignited something deep within him. Tonight, Jake, we gather not only to honor the bonds we have formed but to open the floodgates of your potential, she proclaimed, her voice steady, clear, and resonant against the hushed whispers of the crowd. The tribe echoed her words with admiration, their faces illuminated with an array of emotions, from hope to longing. Jake felt a rush of vulnerability mixed with a fierce desire to be worthy of their trust. I don't know what to offer, he admitted, discomfort threading through his words. What if I can't be the savior you seek? What if I hold you back? Valda took a step closer, her luminous eyes locking onto his with an intensity that made his pulse quicken. Your presence, your very essence, carries the strength we need. You are not just an outsider, you are now part of us. Embrace that, and the path will reveal itself. Her words carried a weight that settled around him like a shroud, numbing his fears momentarily. As the tribe began to gather in a circle, chanting a haunting melody, Jake's breath hitched. The notes swirled through the air, ethereal and ancient, capturing the essence of their culture, so rich, so yearning. The darkness deepened around them, and the fires lit at the edges of their gathering crackled, sending flickering shadows dancing through the gathered beings. He felt their belief wash over him in waves, transforming his anxiety into a burgeoning resolve. Then, as if attuned to the moment, Valda guided Jake forward, forcing him into the center of the circle. The tribe's voices harmonized, rising and falling like the pulse of a living organism, wrapping around him like a protective cocoon. He felt disoriented, as if freed from the confines of his identity, lost yet found, alien yet at home. The world outside faded, and for a heartbeat, he existed only with them in that melodic embrace. Speak, Jake, she urged gently, her voice tender amid the rising fervor. "Let us know who you are, what you fear, and what you hope for." Jake's mind raced, revealing a tapestry of thoughts and feelings he never knew languished beneath the surface. "I fear," he began, his voice trembling. "I fear I am not enough. In the vastness of space and time, how can one person make a difference? I am just a man, a solitary astronaut." The tribe inspired him with their undivided attention, their expressions shifting from curiosity to understanding, mirroring his own internal battle. "But you are not alone," Valda interjected, her voice assertive yet kind. "You are a vessel of potential, capable of bridging worlds, of igniting spirits. Your humanity holds power we cannot overlook." He inhaled sharply, feeling their energy envelop him, every heartbeat echoing courage into his veins. What was it to be human if not to stumble, to rise again, fueled by tenacity and connection? "I will try," he said finally, his voice steady. "I will try because you believe in me, despite my doubts." A ripple of appreciation fluttered through the crowd, the chants rising in pitch, invigorated by his affirmation. Valda glanced at him, her expression softening, glistening with shared warmth. The belonging he'd longed for tugged at him, almost playful in its insistence. "And so we shall, together," she declared with fervor. As the ceremony deepened, the atmosphere transformed into something sacred. The tribe engaged in ritualistic movements, their feet drumming against the soft earth, creating a rhythm that connected them all in a unified heartbeat. Jake followed suit, clumsily mimicking their dances, laughter bubbling beneath the tension. "Silly human, you dance like a boulder," chimed a voice from the outskirts, sending waves of laughter through the tribe as he stumbled again, this time purposely, igniting a round of joy that felt infectious. With each misstep, their laughter transformed into cheers. Each slip into the embrace of gravity bonded them further, weaving a tapestry of shared experiences that transcended language. They cared not for perfection, but for the connection being forged in that moment. Jake realized that vulnerability revealed strength, that camaraderie lived in acceptance of one another's flaws. But the night wore on, and with it came an undercurrent of tension. Shadows danced on the fringes of their celebration, an echo of the impending threat hanging over the horizon like a storm cloud gathering intensity. The tribe, while lost in merriment, glanced occasionally toward the outer rim of the forest, unease pooling in their eyes. "Something is coming," one of the women whispered, her voice barely rising above the song. Valda's gaze hardened, sensing the grim reality lurking beyond their fire's light. "We must be prepared, united," she said, the playful spirit of the ceremony slipping into a somber, resolute atmosphere. As they continued the ritual, Jake sensed the challenge of what lay ahead. He felt them reaching for his strength even as they exuded their own. The juxtaposition of joy and a looming storm created a heady blend that left him breathless, enraptured in a battle against doubt intertwined with unity. The chants began to echo deeper, resonating in his very being. "When the dawn breaks, we stand together, fight together," Valda instructed, a battle hymn woven into the fabric of their gathering. "We are one family, one heart, against the tide of despair." As the dawn broke on the alien horizon, the sun's first golden rays spilled over the hills, transforming the vibrant landscape into a kaleidoscope of colors. Jake stood at the heart of the village, the pulse of excitement thrumming through him. No longer just a lost astronaut wandering an alien world, he felt the gravity of his new reality bearing down on him. He was a symbol of hope for this extraordinary tribe. The churning emotions within him swelled like the tides, a rush of exhilaration mixed with a sprinkle of fear and uncertainty. "Today, we unite," he proclaimed, his voice surging with newfound authority. He watched as the members of the tribe gathered around him, their faces lit with anticipation. We will fight for your survival together." His words ignited a chorus of passionate cheer among them that resonated against the ethereal foliage. Valda stepped forward, a almost regal presence amidst the throng, her eyes sparkling with unwavering faith. "You bear the weight of our dreams, Jake," Valda remarked, her tone serious yet filled with affection. "But remember, our strength lies not solely in bravery but in our connection, our shared commitment to this cause." She took his hand, clasping it with a warmth that wrapped around his heart. "You are not alone in this fight." Jake nodded, feeling the depth of her words resonate inside him. It was true. The warmth radiating from the tribe bolstered him, reminding him that he didn't have to carry this burden alone. Hope blossomed within, urging him to embrace the mission ahead, but it was not just for his sake. It was for the future of his newfound family. He drew a deep breath, allowing the opportunity to sit heavily on his shoulders. As he surveyed the surrounding valley, a chorus of brilliant colors exploded into view. Lavender trees with trunks of silver, luminescent flowers swaying gracefully, their petals glowing like tiny stars in the morning light. The ambient sounds of the alien world formed a symphony around him. The gentle rustle of leaves, the melodic calls of strange creatures flitting through the air, and the rhythmic beating of hearts that joined him, both human and alien alike. It was a melody he hadn't known he craved until now. "Gather around," Jake called, switching into a leadership role that felt foreign yet exhilarating. The women of the tribe hurriedly assembled, their expressions eager with curiosity. "Let's strategize. We need a plan to defend against whatever danger is coming for us." His mind raced with the logistics of preparation. Despite his own insecurities, he was determined to create a solid foundation for his role in their fight. "How do we know what to prepare for?" one of the tribe members asked, a deep furrow embedding itself in her brow. She had striking emerald hair that flowed freely down her back, shimmering in the morning light. "We do not even know the nature of our enemy or when they shall arrive." Silence fell upon the group as Jake contemplated her words. "You're right," he admitted. "We need information, something concrete to guide us." He felt Valda's hand on his shoulder, grounding him. "Then we must send a scout," she suggested. "We know that there are creatures who swarm around the northern cliffs. They might have seen something. What do you propose?" Jake probed, already envisioning the task ahead. The thought of dangers lurking beyond their village filled him with an eerie sensation, remnants of his astronaut training flashing in his mind's eye. "They move in packs, but we know, from observing them, that they are drawn to sound," Valda explained, her confidence like a flame spreading through him. "If we send someone, we should stay silent, move invisibly. One of our expert climbers could scale the cliffs and gather information." Jake held her gaze, a flicker of awe igniting within him. "You mean, we should send a scout up there to gather intel on something we aren't even sure exists? What if they get caught?" Valda smiled, a serene expression that whispered of trust. "We have each other's backs, just as you have ours. If it is a threat, let's face it together, with knowledge and strategy." United, an electrifying excitement coursed through the tribe at the thought of sending one of their own. An act of courage, deepening the roots of their interconnectedness. "Then it's settled. Be sure of this," Jake declared. "We shall prepare an ambush to protect whoever goes." The tribe erupted into enthusiastic chatter as individuals sought tasks they could undertake. Jake felt the atmosphere shift, an intoxicating energy radiating from them all. The air was charged with determination, a palpable hope that threatened to burst from within their hearts. Days passed in a whirlwind of activity. Jake, along with Valda, gathered the eager members of the village to train for their mission. Each session buzzed with a zealous intensity, instilling skills honed from centuries of survival on this world that would now face a fight. "Remember your footing?" Jake shouted during a training session as one of the tribe members stumbled. "Balance is key. Move gracefully, as our surroundings do." The laughter that followed was a balm against the tension simmering in the air. Yet, amid the shared joy, he felt a nagging question growing in his mind. Was he truly the right person to lead this fight? He would often steal glances at Valda, drawing strength from her unwavering determination. Together, they strategized, sharing ideas for ambush setups and traps, learning from each other. The balance of their differences intertwined their worlds as they worked hand in hand. On the eve of their scouting expedition, a sense of gravity settled upon the village. A fire crackled brightly in the center, its warmth casting flickering shadows against the faces of those encircled. As the flames danced, a hush enveloped the gathering, and Jake felt that familiar weight on his chest, the fear of what lay ahead. He cleared his throat, locking eyes with his audience. "Tomorrow, we make history," he began, his voice steadying with every word. "Our scout will gather intelligence, and we will be waiting. But understand, whatever darkness comes our way, we will face it together. We are warriors of our beliefs and bonds." A chorus of agreement echoed through the crowd, imbibing Jake with renewed vigor. Fear drummed in his heart as he caught glimpses of the night sky. Stars that once felt distant now felt like a personal connection between him and his earthly home. No longer just propelling through space in isolation, he had found a family on this alien planet. Here, the stars weren't apart from him. They were a part of a greater whole, just like he had become within the tribe. That night, as he laid in the embrace of the soft mossy ground, surrounded by the vibrant flora, thoughts of Earth drifted into his mind. Would he ever go back? Would anyone from his planet ever accept the change in him? Those thoughts conflicted with the joy blossoming in him for having a new home, for having this woman, Valda, cast doubts he never even thought he'd entertain. He closed his eyes, letting sleep take him, convinced now that he was meant to discover the hidden potential buried within himself. Dawn broke anew, light spilling into their camp. The air buzzed with urgency. Individuals finishing their morning rituals banded together, merging energies in preparation for the mission ahead. Jake led the tribe into formation, focusing on the moving parts of their small army as they advanced toward the cliffs. Every step he took, each breath he inhaled, felt like an initiation into a world that was more than just survival. It was a promise of growth. Their laughter mingled with the soft whisper of the wind, grounding him every step of the way. "Stay close," he urged, his own heart racing. But despite the fear thrumming within him, he broke out into a fitting smile when he met Valda's intense gaze. She was ready, and so was he. As the cut of the mountain loomed ahead, the world transformed into a landscape of dangers juxtaposed against vibrant life. And yet, he found solace in the notion that even in the heart of uncertainty, they stood united, and that connection, he discovered, ignited something powerful within them all. The closer they neared the cliffs, the more Jake realized that destiny was not an isolated pursuit. It was weaving together lives, merging aspirations, crafting a tapestry of resilience as they ventured into a world that might not welcome them. Together, they faced the unknown. And in that uncharted territory, Jake learned one ultimate truth. True heroism thrived not just in power or strength, but in love, bonds, and the willingness to embrace the unknown together. They were intertwined, their fates fused within the fabric of this alien world, and they would face whatever challenges arose with unwavering hearts. As they stood at the precipice, ready to step into what lay beyond, Jake took a deep breath and let the stars align within him and the tribe. Together, they would forge their path into the cosmos, finding themselves amidst the challenges and miracles yet to embrace them. And in that moment, he finally understood, it wasn't just about how he'd protect them, but rather how their combined strength would protect the very essence of hope itself. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.